I went onto Twitter and I found, oh my God.
Huh? What is happening?
It says Paula Abdul dead at 62.
Shut up. No.
Straight
no.
up singer
Wait.
passed
No.
away
Are you serious?
peacefully in her sleep on September.
Shut up. Are you serious?
2024.
No. I think we have to pause this. What? No. Wait, are you for real?
No, I'm kidding.
Why would you do that?
Welcome back to the Hoot and Holler podcast. Today I'm here with a very, very special guest. This person is the queen of machine learning. She is a dance performer and enthusiast, and she's also my very dear friend. Please welcome Kitu.
Hey, what a beautiful, kind introduction. Thank you so much, Eric.
I mean, it's all true.
It is. You're hyping me up. I need to hype you right back.
Okay, go ahead and do my intro.
Okay. Whoa, wait. That is stressful. Putting me on the spot like that. I am not ready. Okay. Welcome, world, to Hoot and Holler podcast number X, which is triggering because I was just notified that Paula Abdul may have died on X. Here we have an intelligent and handsome host.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
I'm blushing.
Oh my God. Mr. Eric Steinman, who not only creates content on video, he's an artiste who makes paper mache little horror dolls, has an incredible collection of board games. Oh my gosh, I need to.
No, this is really good so far.
Okay, is it?
I'm loving this.
I love it, love it. The king of writing, directing horror movies and film scripts, comedic creative genius out here, Mr. Eric Steinman.
Wow.
Welcomes you to his beloved show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you for that lovely introduction.
Yes.
That was incredible.
Thank you.
We have so much to discuss today.
We really do.
And the first thing I want to talk to you about is something that I find very interesting about you.
Tell me more.
I think you are the most introspective person that I know.
Interesting.
And I think you spend like a lot of time reflecting, thinking, marinating on your life, but also just like the world in general. You're kind of like, you're like a philosopher in a lot of ways. Or maybe a psychologist.
Whoa.
I don't know the difference.
Am I? Oh, to be honest, I don't either, but sounds like you're calling me Socrates. Oh no, what's the word? When they come back from the dead?
Reincarnated.
Yes.
Yeah, that's you.
Wow, that's me. I will admit I do love a lot of deep introspection. 2-hour car rides are nothing. I'm lost, simmering in between my thoughts.
Oh, you don't even need music.
I don't need music. I have my brain to keep me occupied.
Whoa, 2 hours alone with your thoughts.
Alone.
I would probably not be alive by the time I made it back to my destination. I don't know how you do it.
I know, it's crazy. It's a whole world of imagination, and sometimes I'll start audio recording 2 hours worth of thoughts and it just doesn't stop. So
you're like a huge journaler, and kind of like a documentarian of sorts.
Yes.
Which I think is really cool. And I was wondering, like, what draws you to that?
I really love keeping the nuances of situations that I know will just pass me by if I don't document and keep it. And there are these small moments that either cheer me up or bring a lot of introspection into the world, into myself. And it's a fun thing to look back to and see, whoa, where has my mind gone? And what are the patterns that I can see? And it's a beautiful way to just learn more about the world and myself. And it's kind of crazy. All of the notes I've taken, all the videos and photos I've taken, so much to parse through. Sometimes it's a lot.
Sometimes it's too much.
It's too much. My hard drive is going to explode.
Oh no.
But it is fun. I really do enjoy that. So that's a really thoughtful thing for you to share about me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I've noticed that like you document both the good and the bad things going on.
Yes.
And I was wondering, like, what do you take away from like the good, and what do you take away from the bad? Is it the same types of things?
I love that. Yeah, I document goods, bads, in-betweens, all of it. It started when I needed a way to cope with how volatile my emotions could be in a more healthy way to process it. I view the goods and bads very differently. The goods I like to write down as celebrations and moments that make me happy. So whenever I need to look back and feel reminded of the goodness of the world, of the love of my life, it is a beautiful way to remind myself. The bads are actually equally as important for me to note because it reminds me that if I go down negative spirals, I will get out of it. I always do. And in those bad moments, there's so much learning and growth and discovery that happens. So much. It's, wow, overwhelming. It's messy. It's chaotic. I confront my own thoughts, my own limiting beliefs, and recognize how I can change my thoughts to be more accepting and empowering so that next time it hurts a little less or maybe hurts in a different way. It's really remarkable to be able to experience it. Sometimes I am really in awe of just the human experience, which I had texted you about a few days ago. Of how
Yes. You sent me this text a couple days ago and you were just like, oh my God, we're on this planet. Thank you for being here with me. And like all this like super positive stuff. And the day after that, I really tried to shift my perspective. Like it inspired me because I was going through a stressful time. Like work is very uncertain right now. The job market in general is crazy. Finances are crazy. Like just everything about the future is scary. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of going down like negative thought patterns. And I was like stopping myself in my tracks. And I was like, just live in the moment. Just appreciate where you are right now. Like I'm fine. I'm in a nice apartment. I have food. I have a job. I have a podcast.
Yes.
Like I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I don't need to stress so much. I should think about the future, consider it, but like take some time and appreciate where I'm at. So I thought that was a really nice, I don't know. I'm going to try to like do that more going forward.
Oh my gosh. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Thank you. It is hard to do that when there's so much that can just bring us down the reality of it all. But one day you're going to look back and be like, wow, I used to be figuring out my life in LA, trying to figure out where my career is going to go. And what a beautiful time that was. The messiness, the opportunities that lay ahead. And it will be such a beautiful memory to look back at. And here you are right now, making it big on this podcast and beyond. So
making it so big.
So big.
I have like 10 subscribers
on
YouTube.
He's in the double digits.
We reached a milestone.
Oh my gosh.
The podcast platform I use, it shows statistics, and I had a download in Russia. It could be a bot, but we're gonna hope it's a real person. And I had one in Switzerland.
International. Okay.
So we're already going international.
Wow.
Which was really exciting.
I'm excited for you. Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to have dubbed versions of this podcast soon.
Yeah, we're going to have to translate. We're going global.
You're going to have to start figuring out your tour dates for Russia,
For
Switzerland.
real. A Russian tour. Oh my God. I would love that.
I would too.
There's a war though.
Is there? Oh, in Russia. Is it still? Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure there's still a war.
Yes.
For the past like 3 years.
No.
But I'm sure there's safe zones. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I hope it ends.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not educated enough on this topic to know.
Same.
You know what? I'm just going to I'll go to Switzerland.
Yeah. That's
we'll go to Switzerland.
Fair bet.
They're so neutral.
They really are.
That's all I know about them. Oh, and Swiss cheese.
Yes.
Swiss
raclette.
chocolate.
Yes. Swiss chocolate. The Swiss Army knife.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They did it all.
They did it all.
And didn't they invent like the Swatch watch? I feel like that's Swiss, right?
What is Swatch watch?
It's like a brand of watches.
I think you're
Swiss Miss. Did they invent hot chocolate?
Yeah, they did. I can imagine. I can see the cover, the Swiss hot chocolate.
So back to our being philosophers.
Okay, Mr. Socrates.
I feel like we have a lot of philosophical conversations.
We do.
About the fate of the world, the fate of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get your take on something.
Okay.
How do you feel about humanoid robots?
Wow. Humanoid robots.
Yeah. Because every time I go onto YouTube, I get all these recommended videos that's like now announcing the Tesla robot Optimus version 3. Or there's like a bunch of other companies, Boston Dynamics. Like there's a whole bunch of companies making these humanoid robots.
Yes.
And they're all saying like this is the future. But what do you think?
Oh my gosh, I'm so intrigued. Humanoid robots. I hope they help me do my laundry and clean my dishes. That would be nice.
That would be so nice.
That'd be super nice. I am very intrigued to see how it all will play out because a humanoid robot is trying to replace a human, and it's very interesting to what extent that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it seems like there are a lot of opportunities and research in more complicated tasks like cars and machineries and factories, but will they ever be able to step up and become an actual human being who has emotions, relationships, voting eligibilities? Is that going to be a thing? I'm not sure. I think it could have a lot of potential with people who need companionship, etc. There's a lot of good that can happen, but I'm also quite cautious of how it can truly overrule the world if if we let it get too far where every task or job is automated by a humanoid robot.
Yeah.
And what are the humans to do then? I'm not sure.
They're pitching it as like, oh, these robots will really just be used for like dangerous or unwanted jobs currently in the US. Things like mining or like those dangerous types of jobs.
Okay.
But are they really going to stop there? I feel like no.
No, that's just the beginning to get us all lured in.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure they will start taking over industry by industry.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great places humanoids can be used, but the first places they're going to go is wherever the money exists.
That's so true.
So I am a little bit nervous about where that may be because it might not be the greatest of places.
It's so interesting. Like, I think there's a lot of potential. They say that the cost of like childcare in the US is almost more than the cost of housing in a lot of situations.
Wow.
And if you can have like your robot babysitter take over while you go on a little date night, like I think that's such a good idea. But what scares, I feel like a lot of people are scared of like the robots gaining consciousness and like taking over. But what I'm more scared about is like some like foreign country like sending in bots with like bombs strapped to them or like guns and just programming them to like take us. Like I think like other countries will try to kill us via robot before the robots themselves try to kill us.
That's so true.
That's what I'm scared of.
That's so true. They could hack the robots, and while the robots are taking care of those children at the child care.
Oh my God. That's so scary.
That's quite scary. Would you trust your children to be taken care of by a humanoid robot?
Not with the current technology, but who's to say in the future? Maybe.
Wow. Crazy world ahead.
I feel like tech advances so fast. Like I literally have in 5 years, who knows what it could look like.
Exactly. ChatGPT is just the beginning and it's just accelerating exponentially. It's quite scary.
Yeah, as they merge like generative technology and like speech recognition and all that with this like advanced robotics, it's going to be crazy.
It is. I'm really nervous about generative AI. Who's to say that this conversation is real? What if this is AI?
Listeners, what do you think?
Yikes.
We're going to move into our main topic of the episode.
Hey.
And this is one that we have a lot of experience with.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of. We have a lot of experience with Six Flags.
Yes.
We've been going for years.
Yes.
We've been pass holders for several years. Mm-hmm. But this episode, we're really diving into Hurricane Harbor.
Did you just say diving in to Hurricane Harbor?
Oh my God. I made a pun. I did not even mean to do that.
Wow. Look at him wading right into the waves of puns out here.
Whoa. Waiting?
Yes.
Did you prepare this?
Did I? did I?
Oh, you came prepared with puns.
I may or may not have. TBD.
Okay. Well, I'll keep my ears peeled. I'm actually really bad at recognizing puns, so a lot of these might go over my head.
Yeah, you didn't even recognize your own pun.
I didn't until you pointed it out. That just goes to show. Well, Hurricane Harbor is the water park attached to Six Flags Magic Mountain.
I am obsessed with water parks, and when I found out that Eric is all in on it too, we made sure we would be going to Hurricane Harbor. And year after year, it's been an interesting experience.
It really has. This is our second year going to Hurricane Harbor. The first year, it's interesting you say that I was all in, because I was all in on the first visit. The second visit, not as much.
Oh, I did not know this.
Well, yes, you did.
Did I?
Because the first visit, I was like ready to do any slide.
Oh,
and
yes.
They have, so there's two different slides at Hurricane Harbor. They have tube slides where you're sitting in like an inflatable inner tube, or you have body slides where you're just raw skin to slide. You're just going right down. And those body slides tore up the skin on my back. It was one of the most painful things I've ever experienced.
It was really bad. We had to go to the emergency clinic, get him checked out.
Yeah, I had to get Band-Aids and like a little, I think they put like an antiseptic or something on it. I was torn up.
Yeah, it was painful. You came in with those memories scarred, and you still chose to come through the doors of Hurricane Harbor. So kudos to you.
I was ready. I wanted to go back a second time, but I said no body slides.
Yeah.
We're sticking to the tubes.
And tubes is all we did. But oof, what a story there is about all of that.
Oh, the tubes. Well, wait, before we dive into the tubes.
Oh,
I do want to start
dive
with.
into the tubes?
Oh my God.
You
I
keep
did it
doing
again. I think I just use that phrase a lot. So expect it to come up again and again. I do want to chat about just Six Flags in general. I think they're confused. I think Six Flags is confused. So they've kind of positioned themselves as this like mid-tier kind of budget theme park location in California. There's a lot of options out here.
Yeah.
We have Disney, we have Universal, we have Knott's Berry Farm. And I feel like Six Flags is middle of the road.
That is true.
They're not catering to like the rich people like Disney. And they're not catering to like the Harry Potter crowd like Universal. So they're like middle of the road. It just confuses me how you go and you pull into the parking lot and they're like $40. $40 to park today.
The audacity.
A budget theme park that's like the price of a one-day ticket at Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, insane.
Just to park.
Insane. In college, we would have to park at Wendy's and trek all the way over there.
Yeah, that's a life hack for all you out there. Park at Wendy's and walk like 2 miles. Honestly, though, the walk from Wendy's might even be the same distance as the walk from the actual parking lot.
Yeah, it's almost a mile. We measured it. It was 0.8 something, and that's basically a mile.
Yeah,
One way.
Our parking spot to the front of the park.
Yeah, and they made us park in places we did not even know exist. It was the rural farmland all the way in Nebraska. I felt we were far.
We were like in the grass.
Yeah.
I think there was an electric fence.
Yeah.
I think we had to cross a bridge. It was
swim through some waters. It was a lot of work to get to the entrance.
So once you enter Hurricane Harbor, you are confronted with a choice. Do you trust the hooligans of Los Angeles with your belongings? Or do you drop another $20 to rent a locker?
Yeah, and they have a lot of audacity once again to offer so many locker options at such an obscene price.
Yeah.
$20 for a locker?
And that was the smallest, cheapest option, I think. I think it went up to like 40, 45.
Yeah, that does not surprise me.
No, they are here for your money at every turn.
There is no law. It's basically run lawlessly in there. Any turn you go, the minimum you're spending is $20. If you want to go grab a slice of nasty, greasy pizza,
$20.
Shell out $20
for one slice.
One thin slice.
Yeah, we've done that before. It wasn't our proudest moment. But when you're hungry, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, they really know what they're doing. They corner you into such extremes where you have no choice but to be desperate and shell out so much money. It is obscene.
It's abhorrent. I still think paid parking should be illegal.
Yeah.
Like, just fold that into the price of the ticket or something.
Yeah.
Because either give me a shuttle or like beef up the public transportation or something. But like, no one has a choice.
Exactly.
You're going to have to park.
Exactly. It's so ridiculous.
So if you're keeping a running total, listener, we're at $60. And that doesn't include the price of admission.
We've barely stepped foot. We've just parked and put our belongings away.
We haven't stepped foot on a slide.
Nope.
But now we're hit with the big choice. The one we've all been waiting for.
Dun, dun, dun.
Will you purchase a tube?
Or will you be a peasant and rot your life away in these long, abysmal lines?
It's truly a decision for the ages. I'm going to say philosophers will be questioning this for the rest of time.
This is a very philosophical discussion.
To tube or not to tube?
That is the question.
We've made it to the tube counter. This is one of the most intimidating sections of the park. It is a counter themed with tiki adornments, some woven palm fronds, some bamboo, and then probably the world's largest stack of blue inner tubes you've ever seen.
Yeah.
More inner tubes than I've seen in my entire life.
It's intimidating, that pile.
You make your way to the front of the counter. You're given the choice. Do I pay $18 for a single tube, $25 for a double tube, or do I slum it with the peasants and go tubeless?
Yeah.
And what did we choose to do?
Well, after paying our hefty toll at the lockers, we're like, well, we don't need to pay up. We can manage.
We can take a line.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Come on. That's what theme parks and water parks are all about.
It's part of the experience.
Exactly. So, no, it didn't cross our mind when we passed that counter. We were ready to wait in line for as long as needed, or so we thought.
Or so we thought.
Or so we thought.
Our very first slide.
Whew.
It was a tube slide, as that was my requirement of the day.
Yes.
And at the base of the slide, there are two line options. You can wait for a yellow tube, which are it's a public shared good. It is the tube of the people, the yellow tube. And you can wait in line at the base of the slide for a yellow tube to come down, and then they hand it to the next person in line and they get to go up to the slide. Or if you chose to shell out the $18/$25, you can skip that line and take your private blue tube right up the stairs to the slide. At first we were like, it's okay. It's just like waiting in line at a theme park. We'll wait for our tube. But we slowly realized that wasn't the case.
Little did we know what we were getting ourselves into. You are waiting in line, waiting for a yellow tube to coast down into the pool for it to be collected. And it sounds great and fun in theory until the only tubes that are sliding down
are blue.
Yeah. What is that about?
This is when we came to see how rigged the system was.
Yes.
We were waiting there in line. I'd say there were maybe 30 people in front of us.
Yeah.
Even that might be generous, like 20 to 30. And we were like, okay, 20 to 30 people. It'll be 20 to 30 slide people to go down, and then it'll be our turn.
Exactly.
But then you see the blue tubes appear. And you're like, well, okay, that's one person down the slide that we won't get a tube from.
Nope.
And then another blue tuber and another. And these people get off the slide and they go right back in line. And you're like, well, now the proportion of yellow to blue tubes is really skewing in the blue lane.
Yeah.
And we're just waiting. At this point, we're praying for a yellow tube.
Yeah.
It has been like 5 minutes at the bottom of the slide and it's just blue tubers.
The line is not getting shorter. Our patience is, though.
Oh, yeah.
We are just waiting and praying. And at a certain point, you kind of go insane where you start booing the blue people.
Oh, yeah. It very quickly became an us versus them scenario.
Yeah.
Where we were like, we are yellow to our core.
Yeah.
And we vibe with the yellow tubers. And
Yeah.
every blue tuber we saw I felt extreme, I will say, hatred, disgust, that people are willing to shell out their hard-earned cash just to step upon the backs of us hardworking yellow tubers.
It was a very angering experience to watch them smugly collect their blue tube, keep it to themselves, not hand it off to anyone, and get right back into line while we're just waiting for a nice, good to earth yellow tube to share with us.
Those yellow tubers, I will say, they're hotter, they're smarter, they're more fiscally responsible.
Yeah.
And when I saw a yellow tuber, my heart did fill with joy. Not only because I was one person closer to the front of the line, but also because I knew I was amongst my peers.
Exactly. It makes you deliriously fall in love with any yellow tuber because they give you a shimmer of hope of what could be.
Yeah.
It's truly so magical.
I think I did fall in love at Six Flags Hurricane Harbor because it's really easy to conflate those feelings. Where like, am I happy to see a yellow tuber because they have a yellow tube or because I like them as a person?
Yeah.
And I was getting really emotionally conflicted.
Yeah, very fair, very fair. I may have fallen in love a few times too.
Yeah.
So very easy to do.
So eventually we wait, I'm going to say close to an hour at the bottom of the slide.
Yeah, we're not even, we haven't even gotten our tubes into the line of the actual ride.
We're just waiting for a tube at this point.
Yeah.
So we wait an hour, we get our tubes, we slip off our little sandals, and we start our ascent up the stairs. And once we're in line on the stairs, it's really not that bad.
It isn't. They prepared us well. That line tests your spirit, your mental strength, the resiliency you have as a person. It tests everything.
Yeah, they break you down to your core.
They really do.
We fought tooth and nail
We really
to
did.
ascend that
Yeah,
staircase.
We did.
And then we end up right back at the bottom. And we do it all
Exactly.
over again.
But it felt so good when we were at the bottom to give our tube back to a yellow person.
Oh my God, the way they lit up,
Yeah.
the smile on their face when I handed them a yellow tube.
I remember telling you when we were at the top that we are going to be the hope and optimism and joy for those people because they are going to see blue after blue after blue, all of their hope crushed. And then when they see us coming down in our yellow tubes, the optimism and hope for life will be restored.
It was truly a beautiful moment.
It was.
It was a slide tower. It was a slide complex, if you will. And there were 3 slides, and we got our single tube. One was broken, so there were 2 slides. But we put our tubes down. We looked at each other. We were like, we're about to change lives.
We're doing it for the people.
We're doing it for the people.
We really are.
We're gonna go down the slide.
Yeah.
And we are going to change lives.
We are the people's hope, their last hope. And surely their faces lit up when they saw us come down.
The biggest smile. I handed it to like a little boy, and I think maybe he fell in love.
Probably. I think I heard applause and cheering from the audience.
Yeah, I really did.
I know. I may have signed an autograph or 2. Like, I don't know what was happening. I was so deliriously happy to be giving back. So
Giving back to the community.
it really was a moment.
Yeah, I was with my people, reunited with my people.
Yeah.
And that really felt good.
Yeah. I agree.
Moving on to the next, I'm going to say this is the most controversial part of Hurricane Harbor. So you can think of the blue tubes as almost like an express pass. Like you're paying $18 to skip that line at the bottom. Mm-hmm. But it does come with some other perks. And I think the biggest perk is actually being able to use the lazy river.
That is outrageous to me before you even get started on this. It's so funny. It's so outrageous, actually, that it's so funny to me now.
It's absurd. So unlike the water slides that require tubes that have the yellow option, the lazy river does not have public yellow tubes for use. So here is where we really see that divide between the haves and the have-nots.
I laugh every single time. I remember last year we didn't know any better, so we went tubeless. And never in my life have I experienced such a non-lazy river. where we were on our feet walking and wading through the river without tubes. And it was such a physical experience.
It was quite the workout. I think the worst part of it is that the depth of the lazy river is approximately 3 feet. And you don't really want to be half submerged. You want to be in the river. So you have to squat. So we're like like sumo walking through the lazy river.
Who does that? Who walks through the lazy river? Who allowed this to happen?
Six Flags did. Thank you, Mr. Six.
It was too, and it's too high for you to be on your knees. So yeah, you're doing this really strange sumo squat, and blue tubes are bumping into you, and you just have to keep walking forward. It's the most non-lazy river I've ever experienced. It was so funny to me. So that's even allowed.
And then yeah, it's just the blatant like classism of it is what really got me, because you see these blue tubers just having the time of their lives. They have their sunglasses on. They're chaining together, creating tube chains and just floating down. And then you see the peasants fighting for their lives, sumo squatting for their lives, trying to like move their way through the river. It was really eye-opening to see. It really was.
It really was. What has this world come to where even a lazy river does not have the same access of laziness to its people, that you have to buy your way into laziness? Such a weird dystopian world that Six Flags has manufactured.
And honestly, I'm going to say this is a safety risk. What if you have a small child less than 3 feet? What are they going to do? They're going to have to like swim it like a lap pool. The whole lazy river, that thing is probably half a mile long. You want a poor child to swim half a mile through the lazy river.
I think I identify as that poor child, because my intention of lazy river is not to be swimming and walking through it. It is simply to be lazy, as is implied in that name.
Yeah.
So I was just flabbergasted to find out the lazy river means quite active river if you don't pay up. So Six Flags, what are you doing? Please listen.
Please listen to the people. Put some yellow tubes in there.
Yeah.
Use the same system. Like make people wait for a yellow tube, but at least give the option.
Give us hope. Give us something to cling on to.
And we tried everything. We did this. We landed on the sumo squat because it was the most effective option, but we tried a doggy paddle. We tried floating on our backs. That did not work. We tried floating on our fronts. That didn't work. Like, it was really hard. It was really hard.
It was. The last experience I had was at Aquatica in Orlando.
Oh, I love that water park.
Amazing. They have 2 lazy rivers.
Yes. They have the lazy river.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have like
a sped up version or something where you go super fast, and
the river rapids.
Yeah, the river rapids. Yes. There's waterfall drizzling on you. There's aquariums of fish swimming past you. There's a lot of beautiful nature-esque things. I have never experienced such a beautiful lazy river in my life. And from that, going to Six Flags, I was so excited to experience a lazy river again. Just the simple joys of lying in a tube and doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, if you come in expecting Aquatica, and you get Hurricane Harbor, I pity you. Yes. I really do. It's quite the wake-up call.
It is. All of my dreams were dejected. I was questioning all of my hopes and desires. They really shot me down spiritually after that experience.
So then there's the third category of attractions at Six Flags. So we've got the slides, we've got the lazy river, and then we've got the wave pool. And this one I thought was very strange, because in all my years of water parks, which there were many, the wave pool, the whole point is like you swim out as deep as you can, and when those waves start coming, you jump.
Yes.
You're trying to like chase those waves. Maybe you do a little like body surfing moment. Mm-hmm. But it's all about the thrill of like almost being consumed by the wave.
Yeah.
But here at Hurricane Harbor, These blue tubers are bringing their inner tube into the wave pool. They're just clogging
How is that
up.
allowed?
How are we allowing this?
Yeah, those tubes should belong in the lazy river where the yellow folks can take them and let the wave pool be for the people, not for the tubes.
Yeah. It just sucks all the fun out of the wave pool.
Yeah,
You're
because
supposed to be jumping.
yeah, and now you're looking out, making sure you're not getting hit by a tube, making sure you're staying afloat, but it's kind of hard when there's tubes all around you.
The first time we went, they were doing a dive-in movie, and it was the
Yes.
Super Mario Bros. Movie. It was playing on a big screen, and like it was broken into like quadrants. And I remember like one quadrant was just out, so like you couldn't see the upper left portion of the movie. But we went in there, and I was getting smacked by these tubes. These
Yeah.
tubes were out of control because when you're just lounging in a tube, like the wave is going to take you. You have no control. The
You
wave
have
is going to
no
take
control.
you. And those tubes were just crashing into me.
And when you're on that tube, you don't care about the people below you. All you see is the movie projector, the 3/4 quadrant you can see. And that's it. You don't care whose heads you're bumping. You're just out in your own little bubble.
It really is metaphorical because here they are, these blue tubers,
Mm-hmm.
just floating through life in
Yeah.
their literal bubble of wealth.
Yeah.
And then there's us yellow tubers,
Yes.
the tubeless in this scenario,
Oof.
treading water just to survive, just to have like a glimmer of fun.
But to be honest, I think this blue versus yellow is all a distraction. It's not supposed to be us versus them. It's supposed to be blue and yellow versus the system.
Oh my God, I so agree.
Yeah.
Because here we are like hating these blue tubers.
Yeah.
But really, like, is it their fault? Or are they just victims of the same system that we are?
Exactly. They're just opportunistic, making the best of the resources and opportunities available by the system that's created all of this.
Yeah, maybe we should redirect our anger towards Six Flags.
Yeah,
Who's trying to nickel and dime us at every corner.
exactly.
And really creating a divide in people, splitting
Yeah.
people up.
Exactly. The fact that we had a chance boo blue is quite a sign of what Six Flags is doing. It's creating this wave of divide between the yellows and the blues.
Whoa, wave of
Whoa.
divide. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I caught that one. It is like a little microcosm of the real world.
It is.
Who is really to blame? The people profiting off the system or the people abusing it? I just don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know who's at fault. But it did feel good to chant "boo blue" every time a blue tube came down the slide. It did feel good. Because I wanted them to know how I felt.
But I feel like we were misdirecting our anger because the poor blues are just making the best of their poor little
They're
situation.
not poor, they're wealthy.
They are wealthy, my bad. But they are just making use of whatever opportunities exist for them, their family, and friends. What we need to be chanting is boo Six Flags and figure out who is the one in charge of nickel and diming us and rejoice with our blue peers and maybe even overthrow the Six Flags people. Yikes.
Perhaps we can all come together as one.
Yeah.
The green tubers.
The green tubers. That has the best ring to it.
That really is nice.
It is so nice.
I could get behind the green tubers.
Yeah. And then the blue people don't have to pay money. And then the yellow people have an equitable access to it all.
Yeah. Oh my God. What if we unionized?
Oh my gosh.
That would be so cool. The green tube union.
I am
We could do
so-
quarterly dues.
Yeah.
I could be a union rep.
Quarterly dues? Is this a way of you to nickel and dime?
No, I'm helping the people. I don't care about money.
Okay. Sure. That's how it all begins. This is how it all started.
If people don't pay their quarterly dues, how am I supposed to provide the service to them of being their union representative?
Fair. But abuse of power starts with the seed of leadership and power. So
Once you get a taste,
once you get a taste,
it's over.
you're like, a nickel? Let's make that a quarter? $1?
$18?
18? 25? It's all the same to
It's
me
all the
anyway. It's chump
same.
change. What does it matter?
There is something that really confused me that I do want to bring up. As I said earlier, you were confronted with the option of buying a single blue tube for $18 or a double blue tube for $25. And you might be wondering, well, if I have two people, surely it makes more sense to get a double tube for $25 and save $11.
Surely. That's why they have that set up like that.
Yeah, because surely Six Flags wants to give people the option to save some money. That's what they're all about.
Of course.
But no, actually, that's another trap.
LOL, beware.
Beware, because when you get in line for your slide, it's not going to be until you reach the top that they tell you, sorry, this slide does not accept double tubes. This is a single tube only slide. And in fact, I believe there was only one slide in the entire park that allowed double tubes.
Can you imagine the emotional frustration of all of that? Being camped out in the yellow tube line, finally saying, this is enough. I'm going to finally shell out for a tube. But since there's two of us, let's save, get a double tube. You get that double tube, you ascend your way to the top after a long, arduous 20, 30, 40-minute wait. And it's not until the top that you're told, you have to turn around now. You're not accepted here.
You're not welcome.
You're not welcome.
You thought blue tubes were welcome everywhere, but
yeah.
In this case, no.
No, there's even a system within the blue tube system. It was so funny to me while we were waiting with our big inflatable tubes that this tube was worth over $100 that day, probably, of how many people had probably tried to use it. And it's insane. It's just this big plastic inflatable tube. And it's valued at hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I'm sure each of those tubes probably cost Six Flags maybe like $3 to actually manufacture.
Yeah.
And then getting, probably between like $30 to $45 per day on that single tube because multiple people are going to be renting it.
Recurring. Crazy.
It's a rigged system.
It really is.
But this is where things take a turn. We'd really been feeling some type of way about these blue tubes.
We were in some deep waters.
Whoa. There's another one. Deep waters.
Deep waters. Treading for our lives.
Uh-huh. I'm really trying to come up with something here. Okay, I give up. But like we had fully reached the conclusion that we were going to dismantle the system, that we wanted equality for all tubes.
Yeah.
We wanted equality for all sliders.
Yeah.
And most importantly, we wanted to float in the lazy river.
Yeah.
But the day was winding down. People were starting to go home. And if there's one thing to know about wealthy people, it's that they're also usually very lazy. These wealthy blue tubers, they couldn't put in the extra effort to return their tubes. So frequently they would abandon them in public places like the bathroom or the middle of the walkway.
Littering their blue tubes for everyone to see and just be disgusted by the kind of behavior they exhibit.
Yeah, we find ourselves at a crossroads.
Yes.
Here we are after hours of waiting in line, treading through a lazy river, and generally just feeling disheartened by the situation that we found ourselves in.
Yes, we were at our wits' end here. Mm-hmm. Desperation was creeping in from every corner of our body.
Yeah, I felt like a caged animal. Actually, no, I didn't. I felt like, what did I feel like? I truly did feel like a peasant. I really did.
I felt trapped by the system. I see where you were going with that.
Yeah. And an opportunity presented itself.
It may have presented itself, yes.
Two blue tubes.
Just hanging out, waiting for someone to make use of it.
See, I think the awkward thing was like, do these belong to someone and they're just like in the bathroom, or have these been fully abandoned? We weren't sure.
Yeah, we had to do some awkward stalking of these tubes to make sure that they aren't anyone's property. And there were 2 tubes. One was outside the bathroom, one was in the center. And I thought, let's prey on both of them. So I went to the one in the center, hung out by it for a few minutes, waiting for someone to claim it. And surely enough, a few minutes later, a father and son returned to claim that tube. So that was a little bit awkward. But the one outside of the bathroom was not staked out yet. So
we went for it.
We went for it like a predator hunting a prey.
Yeah, really, we went in for the kill.
We did.
And I think the interesting thing is that we don't know if that father and son did own the tube.
Yeah.
Or if they were also lowly yellows taking advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, who's to say?
The world may never know. But we did end up with blue tubes.
At last we did. But it felt a little bit wrong.
It felt so wrong. I honestly was like, there's probably cameras, like security is going to descend upon us within minutes, and we will be ejected from the park and maybe banned from Six Flags for the rest of the time. That was my fear.
Whoa. The blue tubers had a wristband and none of us had wristbands. Mm-hmm. And I was stressed about that.
The first few minutes we were in possession of these blue tubes.
Yeah.
My heart was racing.
Yeah. I was like, are people watching us, following us, chasing us? Mm-hmm. I felt like all eyes were on us. How dare they walk this without their wristbands? It was quite nerve-wracking to be walking with those blue tubes.
Yeah, I definitely adopted like kind of a swagger. I was like, if I'm going to have a blue tube, I need to play the part. And I need to have the confidence of a young, wealthy water park goer.
Yeah.
And I really embodied that character. I was like, how would they walk? And now that I'm a blue tuber, how would I walk? How would I breathe? How would I wear my sunglasses? Would I wear them over my eyes, or am I so wealthy I don't care about sun damage and I would wear them atop my head? These were all thoughts that were going through my head, and it was overwhelming. Yeah. I really struggled. There was definitely a moment where imposter syndrome set in, and I guess it wasn't imposter syndrome because I was an imposter.
Like, you don't deserve this spot, actually. You're not qualified to be here.
But I felt it. I felt the pressure.
You felt it, and you did step up to the plate, because after a few moments of being a blue tuber, you maybe started looking down upon the yellow tubers. Maybe we all did.
I think we did.
For like those peasants who have to stay in line.
Like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, like life is so much better on the blue side.
We did a bit of a 180. Once we got a taste of the good life.
We kind of did.
Yeah, we took those blue tubes right to a slide. We skipped the line, rode our way down within minutes.
Yeah.
I looked those yellow tubers waiting in line in the eyes. I said, not for you.
I looked at them with pity. I was like, oh, it must suck to be you right now.
Oh, you guys are waiting?
Oh, no.
You guys are waiting? I'm going to get back in line, but you guys have fun waiting. You guys enjoy. Peasants.
Oh
my God, you poor people.
I know.
I feel so bad for you, but I'm so glad I'm not you.
I know. If only you worked harder.
If you just worked a little harder, you could have been a blue tuber.
You could have.
But we finessed our way up. We climbed the ranks.
We did.
And all those people waiting in line could have easily done the same.
They could have cheated the system. But to be fair, it felt wrong. So much conflict. Internal. Where do I belong? What is meant to be? Is this the true me?
Yeah. Did you like who you were as a blue tuber?
No.
You didn't like it?
No. I felt bad, but not in a good way.
I felt bad, but not okay.
Yeah, but when I was yellow, I knew I was doing good work.
See.
There was nothing to feel bad about, just feeling bad at the system. But when you rise to the tops like that, cheating your way through the system, it feels weird because we were one of them. We were the yellow people. We were rooting for the yellows to make it through. And here we were on the other side, converted into blue people. It was a whole 180 that I was not prepared for.
I can't say I shared the same guilt as you.
Interesting.
I really stepped into the role.
Yeah.
I think I got a taste of the power and I liked it a little bit too much. I honestly, walking past that line of yellow tubers, carrying my private blue tube with me, it did feel good to feel like I am better.
But what did those yellow people ever do to you?
They didn't do anything, but it just felt good knowing I'm better than them, you know?
It was a feeling. It was a fleeting moment of, wow, this is life on this side and it feels good. But when it started to wash away, I was a little bit alarmed by who the blue tubers had made me become, who the system turns us into.
Exactly. It wasn't us. It was the system.
It was the system.
They made us become blue tubers. Even as a blue tuber and feeling that power coursing through my veins, I still knew I was a victim.
Yeah.
I was a victim.
Yeah, we all
I had
were.
power. I was skipping the line.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a victim of the system.
I agree.
And therefore, I felt no guilt about what I was doing.
Wow. How the tide turns.
Oh.
That one I didn't even plan on, but
that was good.
I'm glad it worked.
That was very fitting.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
It was. Thank you. Thank you.
The tide really did turn.
The tide did.
I went from boo blue to mellow the yellow.
Mellow the yellow. It is alarming how every turn at Six Flags begs the question of, should we put premium access on the tubes, the lockers, the parking? Where is the limit? Does it not exist?
Let's do a quick little brainstorm session and think how they can monetize the park further. I think that'd be a fun little exercise. So the first thing that comes to mind is pay per slide.
Oh no.
So
no, it's like a carnival. I hate that system.
So maybe you need to have your credit card on you and do a little tap for each rider. There can be one of those little gates, like those metal gates that you get. This.
Carnival rides stress me out because you have a budget of raffle tickets and you don't know how to spend them because each ride is worth a certain value, but you don't know what the value is until you've done it. Yeah. And how do you budget that? You're saying let's introduce that system into Hurricane Harbor?
Well, I'm just role playing as Mr. Six Flags trying to please the shareholders.
Yes, of course.
And I think that's
up into the
pretty easy way.
Yeah, brainstorming. I like that. We could monetize the bathrooms.
Ooh.
For number 1 or number 2, you pay premium to do number 2 because you're using more resources, more toilet paper,
bigger flush.
Yeah. And you have no choice but to use the bathroom. So that's an easy win for them.
Each stall put a little credit card receptacle. Maybe you have to press 1 for number 1, press 2 for number 2.
Exactly.
Or 3 for other.
Yeah.
And
3 for other.
You'll be charged accordingly.
Exactly.
I like that. Another option could be peak pricing.
Yes.
So perhaps around the lunch hour, we increase the rates of bathrooms, specifically number 2, and we really monetize on the needs of the people.
I love that.
Because it's going to happen one way or another.
Yeah.
They're going to pay the price. And I think the limit of defecation, people are willing to pay more to do that in the comfort of a stall.
I would hope so. I would hope that this doesn't turn into an experiment where you're seeing hidden defecations behind bushes and beneath blue tubes, and who knows what could happen. But it's an interesting system. It's like airplane pricing, where one day it's $100 and the next day it's $300, and shoot, you missed it. The next day it might be $400 or it might be $50. You don't know.
You never know.
That variable pricing stresses me out. So why not bring that to the masses, keep them on their toes. I also remember when we were there, it was a really hot day. So after each ride, we had to hydrate, drink water. Another opportunity.
Oh my God, how did I not think of that?
By volume of how much water you're drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you insert as predetermined amounts, kind of like you're filling a tank, or you keep drinking and you just keep getting charged. And
yeah, the gas station model. You can prepay or you can just free fill it and pay whatever the cost ends up being.
Exactly.
I think that's a great system.
Exactly. And then kind of like the gas station model, how there's 3 buttons. You could have water that's not even filtered.
Oh yeah, like your premium is like a filtered water,
sparkling water, distilled water.
The lowest tier, would be like, this is just the water from the slides. Like, we're just pumping it right up. You still got to pay, but that's what you're drinking. We're gonna be honest. It's got to go somewhere, right? Here. Yeah, it's got to go somewhere.
There's been studies that if you consume other people's gut bacteria that have more good bacteria, your own gut bacteria can improve. So this could be a test study to see.
Wait, how are you consuming other people's gut bacteria?
If there's defecation in the water.
Ew. You're supposed to drink poop water to boost your immune system? Is that for real?
There are studies and hypotheses.
Who signed up for that test?
There's a Netflix documentary and it
Are you serious?
It becomes graphic quite fast.
Oh my God.
They show a DIY of how to do it, and they show you how they use a blender of mixing the defecation, and how they put it into little capsules and how they just swallow the capsule. I thought that was I could not believe when I saw that. That felt such censored material, that I was watching a Netflix documentary on how to DIY gut bacteria capsules. But maybe Six Flags will lead the way and introduce all types of gut bacteria, good, bad, all of it,
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should make that the premium tier.
Yeah, that's the premium tier.
That's healthcare right there.
That's true. We can team up with a healthcare system here.
Yeah, maybe if you like show your privatized healthcare, what are those things called? Your insurance.
Oh yeah.
Your privatized insurance card. You can get a discount on that water.
That's true. Like, it'll go toward your FSA, HSA, those kinds of things.
Exactly. But otherwise, it's coming straight out of the piggy bank.
I love this idea. These are honestly such better alternatives to the blue yellow tiered system. Yeah. I don't know why Six Flags has not considered these yet.
We are available as consultants.
Yeah.
So Six Flags, if you're listening, please hire us.
Yeah, we're
and
ready.
We have even more ideas.
We do.
We have a lot of ideas. We don't want to share too many because we want to keep a little bit to ourselves.
Yeah.
To keep in our back pocket for that pitch meeting. But yeah, this is just a taste of what we can provide, the services we can provide.
Yeah.
For you. Okay, I want to close on the lazy river. The circle of life. You start with the lazy river and you end with the lazy river.
The premium experience we had been waiting for years.
Literally 2 years.
Literally 2 years. I love that after 1 year, it becomes multiple. So years.
Yeah, years.
The bliss of just lying on a tube felt so well deserved.
Oh my God,
my gosh. After all the hard work and toil we had done for the past many years.
Yeah.
That was the peak of my time at Hurricane Harbor.
That was the peak of my water park career.
Yeah.
Truly.
Truly.
I was just laying there and my little donut of peace, my wealth bubble, floating without a care in the world. I don't think I even took my sandals off. I think I went in that tube with my sandals on.
Yeah. No cares.
I could exit at any point.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to worry about where my sandals were parked. I could just hop out.
That's so true.
At any moment. We were chained together. There were 3 of us in our group.
Yeah.
We chained ourselves together into a mega flotation raft.
Yeah.
We were just taking up the entire lane. There were tubeless floaters trying to get around us, and we were like, good luck.
We can't, we're just chilling. We can't do anything about this.
Yeah, I don't know what you want us to do. We're a giant floating island of 3 tubes. You can try to get around us if you want, but I'm not moving.
It was really peaceful. I felt like we were 3 little otters just hanging around, floating peacefully, finally experiencing the bliss we deserved and earned. That was the best way to close out that water park day.
Yeah.
It could not have gotten any better.
We actually floated until the lifeguard
until they were trying
yelled
to kick
at
us out
and said, get out because we're closing.
Yeah. That's the way to go out.
And then in true blue fashion, we just left our tubes right in the lazy river. And we left.
What the blue does to you.
What the blue does to you. Yeah. Once you experience life, a life of privilege, a life of premium experiences that were previously locked behind a paywall, it's really hard to go back.
Yeah. But if they made the yellow experience just as good, there would be no reason for the blue experience to even exist. If there were yellow tubes in the lazy river, if there were more yellow tubes in the lines, would we even have this battle of privilege if yellow was already good enough?
And I think that's the key takeaway, where this system of us versus them, it really does suck for us. It causes a lot of emotional turmoil. It causes a lot of ill will between parties.
Mm-hmm.
But it really benefits the bigger players. They want us to be divided because they can profit off of our hatred.
Yeah.
Off of our desire to climb.
Exactly. They have distracted us from the real problem, and we're fighting against each other when they're the ones creating these systems, and
we could be fighting against them.
We could be fighting against them.
That's crazy. It's almost like it parallels like parts of real life.
Oh my God, who would have thought that the water park is a microcosm of the real world? What?
Is Mount Rushmore the real Magic Mountain?
Yeah. How many faces are there on Mount Rushmore?
4. There's 4.
Are you sure it's not 6?
I'm positive it's 4.
I think the other 2 are us, actually.
That's true.
They were waiting for us.
Yeah.
All along.
There's a spot. It's just like 2 just like smooth, faceless heads.
Little blobs.
Waiting for the next leaders of America to take their place.
Exactly.
And I think that's us.
I think so too. We've earned that.
Wait, where were you going with that though? The 4 heads.
I don't even know.
Oh.
Where was I going with that? Huh. But yeah, the water park has a lot of parallels to the real world, and all we can do is vote out the bad guys from the system. Dang, this is getting philosophical and political.
Yeah,
real fast.
Oh my God.
Oh
guys,
my gosh.
get out there and vote.
Get out there and vote. Your electors.
Use your voice.
Use your voice. Every vote matters when it comes to Magic Mountain.
And if you have to steal a blue tube, do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
And if a blue tube is, a fake ballot in a ballot box, or, perhaps a bribe in
Oh.
the pocket of a politician,
Oh.
you do what you need to do. Because that's the system we've been placed into.
Yeah, that's the system making us so desperate.
And it's not your fault if you do that, okay?
Yeah,
it's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's the system's fault. Oh,
Okay,
gosh.
I feel like we've lost the plot at this
I
point.
think so too. We
It's
have
time.
drifted away
Oh.
too far. Yes.
We've made it to that portion of the podcast where we talk about our Hoot and Holler.
Hey.
Dear listeners, if you're unfamiliar with the concept of a Hoot and Holler, try opening a book, read the news. But a hoot is something that you want to highlight in the world, in your life, and share with our beautiful listeners. And a holler is something that you want to cast shade upon, as the children say.
As the children say. Yes.
So how about you start us off?
Okay.
Do you want to start with a hoot or a holler?
It's Hoot and Holler, not Holler and Hoot. So
Oh, that's so true.
gotta start with a Hoot. My Hoot are a pair of new socks, which sounds so mundane, but the feeling of fresh socks that hug your feet so snugly and so comfortably just hits different after you wear a same pair of socks over and over and over again.
Yeah, there's no better feeling.
Yeah. You've experienced that, right?
I have, and not often enough.
Yeah, right? It doesn't happen enough. I feel like if I was rich enough, each sock I would wear would be a brand new pair of socks.
Yes.
I think that's when you know you've made it.
That would be so nice.
I know. And then with the spare socks, you can make a sock puppet show, so it's not totally wasteful. And
yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Exactly. So you have fun with the sock puppets, but nothing compares. I got a new pair of socks, which I'm not wearing, obviously, and I just forgot the feeling of soft, luscious embracing that happens to your feet when you get that pair of new socks. So that is my Hoot.
That is such a good hoot. And I had a moment actually recently. Wait, this is going to be TMI. I'm not going to say this actually. Actually, no. You know what? I am going to say it.
Yeah, no such thing as TMI.
There's no such thing as TMI. I had underwear from various stages of life, you know? I had like a pack that was like a year old. I had a pack that was like a month old. And I perhaps had a pack that was even older than a year. And I would be like excited to wear like the newer underwear. And I would save the old ones to the end. And I was like, why am I living in this mindset of like the hype? Like after you wash your laundry and you reset, you're so excited about those first few pairs.
Yeah.
And then it trickles down until the end of the week. You're just disappointed. Like you're starting your day off on disappointment. You're like, I have to put on that pair of underwear today.
Yeah.
And I decided I'm going to scrap and start over.
A new collection.
And I started a new collection, and they were all like the best underwear that I had, like my favorite brand or whatever. And then I started over and I bought like 18 pairs of underwear or whatever.
Wow.
I tossed the rest.
Wow.
And that way now I never have to like open my drawer and feel that decision or that disappointment.
Yeah.
It's so easy. I open it. They're all the same. It's all the same pair from the same time. And I just pull it out and I wear it. And then one day when the time comes, I'll retire the entire thing.
Wow.
And start again.
That's a great space to be. The whole collection is brand new. There's no way to go but up from there. Each underwear is in its pristine condition. That's so exciting. And I like that it's all part of the same collection, ready to be retired for a new season, whenever that may be.
It was one of the best ideas I've ever had.
Yeah, I agree. That decision fatigue is tiring. It's like, do I save the nice ones for now, for later?
Yeah, is there a special occasion coming up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you never know.
Exactly. But if every day is a special occasion, then
exactly
you start the day off in such a
Yes, it makes
great-
every day feel special.
Exactly.
Because you feel good and confident in your
Exactly.
favorite underwear.
Yeah. Okay, I'm inspired.
Yeah. Everyone go out and do this.
Yeah. Retire your entire collection and start fresh.
My hoot this week is leaving negative reviews on Yelp.
Is your hoot?
Yes.
That's true, actually.
It feels so, like, I get it now.
Yes.
It feels so good. Before I didn't understand, I was like, who has the time to put such negativity into the world? But recently I went to an establishment in which I had to pick up an item
Yeah.
and wait in a line. You know, I'll just come out and say it. It was CVS.
I love how you were protecting CVS.
Yeah, why am I protecting them? It was a horrible experience. I had to go to CVS to pick up a prescription.
Yeah.
And I waited in line for like 15 minutes. I made it to the front. I'm the last person in line. I make it to the front and they literally like slam a closed little sign on the counter and they go, "Sorry, we're closed."
What?
And I checked my watch. I looked up the hours before I went. I checked my watch. It was 3:30. They were supposed to be open until 6. And I was like, "Why are you closing?" And they said, "Oh, we have to go on break."
All of
and
them?
I said, "You can't help one more person. I just waited in line for 15 minutes. You can't help one more person?" They said, "No." And then they like closed the shutter. They locked it and they were gone.
Why do all of them have to go on break at the same time?
Exactly. Or why could you not tell me?
Yeah.
If you knew you were not going to be able to help me,
make the cutoff.
if you knew, like, put a cutoff and then tell the other people in the line to turn away. But no, they let me waste 15 minutes in line.
Yeah, like the In-N-Out people do. They're like, "Sorry, you're not going to make it. Turn around." That's crazy that they had you experience that.
I felt so wronged. It ruined my entire day. This was like the first thing I did in the day.
No.
And I was stewing in my horrible feelings. And I came home and I was like, I need a release. So I got on Yelp and I wrote the meanest, rudest, the most biting review you've ever heard. And I pushed send. I gave a 1-star review for CVS Pharmacy.
Good.
And it really turned my day around. It really did.
It better. Did they respond back at all?
I haven't checked.
Okay. Question. Why did you choose Yelp over Google reviews?
I think because I don't use Google reviews.
And why is that?
I didn't know that existed.
What? The Google Maps reviews.
I don't use Google Maps.
Oh yeah, you use Apple.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think Apple connects to Yelp.
It does. It does.
So I went to the source.
Wow.
But I get it. Like, I didn't understand for a long time, but it really felt good. Like, a weight was lifted off my shoulders that other people now know the burden that was upon me.
I'm glad you had the courage to step up because it is hard to brave yourself and do that. I remember one time at an Airbnb, I didn't have the greatest experience, but the host decided to talk with me and we had a personal relationship going on. And I felt I couldn't disobey our friendship and write a bad review on the public Airbnb profile. So I left a neutral review. And then a year or two later, I checked to see how that listing was doing. And someone had the courage that I did not have at that time to be honest about the experience and say how outdated it was, how the room was musty, how the bed sheets needed renewal, etc. And I'm like, I applaud you for standing up for the people because negative reviews is what makes the world go around.
It really does.
It does.
Because the people need to be aware, like the customers. And I think also the company needs to be aware that their employees are not providing good service.
Exactly.
And I hope they get punished and fired.
Oh, whoa.
Wait, sorry, that's too far. That's way too far. I hope that they get a stern talking to.
A stern talking to. Maybe some community volunteer service.
Yeah. No, give them a second chance. They can change.
Yeah. Can they?
No, I swear to God, the people that work at CVS are like, where do they find them? They're the worst people in America every time. I think like collectively they have 2 brain cells. Like the whole a whole staff.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like I talk to them and they just have this blank, like glazed over stare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you listening to? They make me spell my name like 8 times.
Your name, Eric, gets spelled 8 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like, what's your name and your birthday to pick up my prescription? And I'm like, hello.
They make me feel dumb, which is interesting. I'm in those
Oh.
pharmacy lines for so long, and they ask me quite like the same date of birth, name, but the way they ask it makes me feel like, do I know what I'm talking about? What is my name? What is my date of birth? They're in such a rush and such a, I don't know, bitter, tired mood that it rubs you off wrong. So we have a lot of suggestions for these establishments.
Yeah. What I just don't understand what it is about pharmacies and CVS pharmacies in particular that like either attracts these like horrible people or makes normal people so horrible. Because I'm like, come on, you're just like typing information into a computer and then giving someone a prescription. It's how can it?
Yeah, how could?
Why are they always so bitter?
I know it. Maybe it's the system to blame yet again. Perhaps they were happy, joyful lads before CVS took over their lives and made them work themselves to death until they're waiting for their 3:30 p.m. lunch break. I don't know why they're taking a break at 3:30 and why everyone has to go off together. But maybe it's a cry for help that they are desperately trying to escape.
Well, CVS, we hate you. Okay, do you want to do your holler?
Yes. My holler is second YouTube ads, which maybe I phrased it wrong, but YouTube has this feature which rolled out a while ago that before you play a video, sometimes there'll be an ad and sometimes there'll be a second ad, which when it came was kind of annoying. But what I find most frustrating is if I don't skip the first ad in time, the first ad gets played to its end and then the second ad starts playing. And it feels like I'm being punished for being loyal, giving them my data, watching them, their ads that I have no interest in, and I'm punished by watching another ad. Whereas if I just skipped the first ad, I would just get to my video right away. And it's such a small but annoying thing. I'm like,
at first you would get your one ad and you would skip it and then you would proceed to the video.
Yeah.
Now, and you thought that was it. Like you're like, this is as bad as it can get. Yeah. But no, they found a way to make it worse. We're going to put 2 ads.
2 ads.
And I think that really opens up this door of possibility. Like, what else can they do to us?
Why
Are
not
they going
3 ads?
3 ads? Make it 4 ads.
And I mean, they have ads in the middle of videos already. They're going to start doubling up those ads in the middle as well.
Yeah, where does it end?
Exactly. Where does it end? With the blue tubers having extra premiere access? Where does that end?
No, that already exists. You can do like a premium YouTube and skip all the ads.
Oh, wait, I was saying blue tubers. Like,
you know what? Let's do a little thought exercise.
Okay.
Of how we can incentivize people to pay for premium YouTube.
Okay.
So one that immediately comes to mind is pay per video.
Wow.
Wow. So like you lock the video behind a paywall.
That's true. Why haven't they done
like
that yet?
10 minutes, maybe you could do it by minute.
Yeah.
Or you could do it by popularity.
Yeah. Bring the
there's
media
so many
method.
ways, that you can monetize the video, but pay per video, I think, is the future of YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised they haven't adopted that model already. It would be kind of like budgeting your raffle tickets. How do you know which video to spend your budget on if you haven't watched it? Mm-hmm. So quite stressful for the user, but great for the pockets of YouTube.
I could even see them like implementing their own currency. So it could be like U-Bucks and you have to choose like this video is 30 U-Bucks. And it kind of like adds that layer of separation where you're like, I'm not using real money. I'm using U-Bucks. But you have to pay for the U-Bucks.
I like that.
Especially with children who don't necessarily understand the value of a dollar. They'll just swipe their parents' credit card and watch their Cocomelons and be on their merry way.
That's true. That's so true. Another way could be to pay by how many subscribers the channel has. So a cent for each subscriber. If a video is made by someone who has 133 subscribers, you pay just $1.33 to watch it. But if you're watching a video made by someone who has 1 million subscribers, you're gonna have to shell up a lot of money to
That's
watch
a
it.
lot of
It's
money.
a lot of money.
But I think that's good because you're going to expect a higher quality video from
Exactly.
someone with so many followers.
Exactly. And at the same time, it would encourage young new creators to put their foot in the door because there'd be more viewership.
It would encourage growth for smaller channels.
Exactly, because it's hard to get noticed when you're competing against the big guys.
Yeah.
How do you gain a following when you're competing with people who have millions of listeners and followers? So this would help create more content creators out there.
This is a win-win for
It is.
the people.
It really is.
Or I could totally see like a dystopian future where in every household there's like a giant hamster wheel and you have to generate power. So you have to walk a mile on the hamster wheel to unlock a video.
Oh.
And that way you are generating the electricity that YouTube needs to power its giant server farm.
I like that.
And in return, you are granted access to the server farm.
I like that. That's such an active way to be using YouTube. You're doing your daily workout you're help generating electricity, using renewable resources.
Another win-win.
Exactly.
There you go,
Ideas
YouTube.
abound.
Free ideas.
Exactly.
Okay, my holler. This week, my holler is big pants.
Is your holler
Yeah.
during the winter season?
During what?
Like the fall winter season.
I'm talking about the big pants, though. Everyone's wearing big pants. Enough with the big pants.
What do you have against big pants?
Just like, let's return to normal pants. Why do pants have to be like parachutes? Do you know what I'm saying?
like the cargo Y2K style.
Yeah.
It's comfy. It is breathable.
Enough. I'm done with the big pants. I'm done with seeing them. I don't like seeing them. I don't like seeing people wear them.
Does it just give you flashbacks to an earlier era? I feel like a lot of Y2K trends have been coming back up. So
yeah, I don't know. There's just something really unsettling about it. The sheer size of them.
like, what are you hiding?
Yeah, there could be
Under those
anything
legs.
in those pants. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's the unknown that scares me. And it also makes me feel old.
Oh, what if you wore them yourselves? Would you feel younger?
I can't wear them.
You can't.
No, because then I feel fake.
Mm,
You
But
know, like it doesn't feel right.
that's true. But you've faked your way into the blue high society.
You know what? You're right.
You can do this. You can play the
You know what?
part.
You're right. I could totally do it. Maybe that'll be my next experiment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was taking a walk through a popular shopping district in our area where many youths congregate. And I just saw like the largest pair of pants I've ever seen in my life. They were so big. I could not believe my eyes. Like it defied gravity in a way.
Oh, maybe it's to make the booty poppin'. Since that's in, they're like the bigger the pants, the bigger it's
Maybe.
poppin'.
But it's always like in the like where the the bottom area,
Oh.
like the shoe area.
Interesting.
They just balloon out into these unimaginable proportions. And it did restore my faith because it truly is like by the grace of God, these pants are hanging on. I don't know how they're not around their ankles. They're so big.
Wow.
How? I do think like Gen Z alone has reinvigorated the belt industry because I feel like millennials, our pants were so tight that like we didn't need belts anymore. But I'm sure there's a huge resurgence. Like guys, start investing now.
So true. Gen Z style is so interesting. You can identify a Gen Z just by their style. They really create styles that you don't even know existed. Back in our days, there were just a limited set of kind of style icons you can follow. But now with personalized ideas from TikTok, Pinterest, who knows what, all of these Gen Zers are creating such unique styles, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, talk about all these Gen Zers who are freaking out about climate change. I'm like, you're buying these pants that are made with like yards and yards of fabric.
So much water consumption, etc.
Isn't the fashion industry responsible for like 30% of all pollution or something? It's like crazy.
Maybe, probably. That sounds right.
I think it's like the main contributor to like pollution and landfills, I'm pretty sure, is fashion.
Yeah, fast fashion especially has given rise to so much of wasted clothes and, I don't know, lifestyle choices, etc. There's this new mindset of just moving on instead of trying to repair it. And to a limit, I understand it, but you can try to salvage what you have before just starting anew as well.
That is something we could do a whole episode on.
I know.
To be honest, that like really kickstarted my brain. Throwaway culture.
Yeah.
That literally, we'll talk more.
Okay, I'm excited.
We'll bring you back.
Okay, looking forward.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a good transition to the end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a long time in the making, and I'm so glad we finally got to do it.
I am so excited to watch all of this happen and be a part of it from the humble beginnings of a bedroom studio. It is really, truly exciting to see it take off and see you genuinely put in your soul and hard work into it. I'm really excited and happy for you to see where it all goes.
Yeah, I love that you're saying it took off. I mean, I guess we do have like a Russian viewer, which is really exciting.
You have a tour planned in Switzerland.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure the raclette cheese and the mountains have been calling your name. So
yes, absolutely. And thank you, listeners, for joining us on this adventure through the way of water.
Yes, we waded through so many different topics.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Cannonballed into some deep waters.
Oh, yeah.
Drifted away into some side adventures. Slid into some murky places.
Whoa.
And we come full circle back to the end of it all.
But you know, if you listen to the Hoot and Holler podcast, it's going to be a deep dive on your favorite topics. So remember to subscribe. Remember to follow. Leave a like. Watch us on YouTube. Watch us on Instagram. And tell a friend.
Hey.
So we gotta go.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
We really gotta go.
Bye.
Bye.